Hi, and welcome to another Huddle Breakdown Extra Time. I'm your host, Martin Murphy, and joined as ever by James. James, just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. You and I. We'll be building castles in the air today, mate. That's the Bill Withers Celtic Supporters Club there for you. So another week, is it, without Alan?
That's actually one of my low-key favorite Beatles songs, Two of Us. Now that you say that. Yeah. So, no, not one of their more renowned works of art, but or music. But I don't know. It's always been one. That and Julia off the White Album, because our daughter's named Julia, so I've always loved that. Loved that song. But anyway, yes. But the long journey is almost over. So
the long and winding road.
Yeah, Alan may be up in the clouds right now. I don't know, on his 8,000-hour journey home, somewhere around here. I don't know. He's supposed to be getting back today or tomorrow, I think. Although when you're crossing time zones and international date lines and all that stuff, who knows what day it even is? It's all an abstraction. Time is an ephemeral abstraction. So one of these days he'll be home.
The thing is as well, even when the plane touches down, he always goes first class. So I'll probably take 3 or 4 people to drag him off. He'll be desperately trying to get the full value for money with that service and all the freebies. I know I would for sure there.
Yeah. 100%. Can't blame the guy.
So quite a lot to cram in as ever today on the Extra Time show. In a moment, we'll be looking at transfer developments, so we've got some news there. It's amazing, isn't it? Really, and we'll be what a shocker, and we'll be delving into that a little bit. We'll also be looking ahead to the season, which is obviously kicking off for Celtic on the Sunday. The season kicks off in Scotland on Saturday, and we'll be looking at potential threats, I guess, but also, of course, given that we're playing St Mirren, we'll be getting into that in a little bit more detail, and ending, as ever, with a little bit of poetry there, a bit of Poetry Corner. But again, might be worth mentioning some of the things that's on the Substack for subscribers, James, if anybody wants to get into that.
Yeah, just to kind of put a bow on the last couple of weeks, because there was a connection between multiple pieces, at least thematically. The goal was to kind of evaluate some of the strategic issues at the club and to provide some analytical context to what's going on this summer, because I think a lot of people are understandably frustrated and kind of annoyed, and I think there's a latent anxiety, and we'll talk about that, I think, more when we get into looking towards the season ahead. So, started with the podcast or the show I did with Laura as far as transfer benchmarking, and the one that we did last week, you and I, on kind of reviewing the financial aspect of it. And then I tried to wrap all of that up, because those are all kind of downstream from the patriarchal family business operating model, as I call it, that seems to be unfolding and has been unfolding for quite some time at Celtic, and kind of looking at who that individual is and using that 2020 Athletic interview to really just, a lot of this shouldn't be a surprise, honestly. I mean, it's that for us all to collectively be bashing our head against the wall. It's frustrating, yes, but at least to provide some undercurrent of analysis as far as why. Like, we can all be annoyed by it. And then what does that suggest as far as whether it's going to change or not? And probably not is the answer. I mean, unless there's a shift in leadership in the decision-making tree. So, and that's going to have direct impact on what we're going to talk about today, because, we're looking at how this transfer window is unfolding, and with the news this week with the young center back from Man City, I think all of that fits with that context. So there was the written piece last week, and then this Monday kind of supplemented the conversation that Laura and I had about that Athletic interview with Dermot Desmond. So just all three of those kind of, and the written pieces kind of segue into what we're going to talk about today. So if you haven't revisited all of them, certainly understandable. But if you're interested, they're there and they are kind of connected and laying the groundwork for what we'll talk about today.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely worth exploring. I enjoyed the piece that you did with Laura there as well. And as you say, it all really came together. I thought it was really interesting. Some very good feedback as well from subscribers on that. So thanks for the efforts you put in there, James.
And the goal is not to depress people. That's ultimately not the goal here. Honestly, it's to just try and get a sense of what's going on and why. I mean, it have a better kind of map, a mental map, because otherwise we're all left kind of flailing about, and you get kind of wacky narratives like this is still Peter Lawwell's doing, and so it's we always go back to attribution, like we always talk about attribution, and again that theme will run deeply throughout this episode. As far as how do we attribute performance and how do we attribute various things, because otherwise when you misattribute, you end up making bad decisions on resource allocation and that kind of thing. So for us, our resources are our mental health and well-being. And if we end up directing them kind of in the wrong direction, then, it creates kind of confusion and, can just make a bad, not a bad situation, but complicate things unnecessarily, let's say. So that's the goal.
I don't think it would depress many of our listeners and subscribers, because many have been through the 1990s. That which does not kill you makes you stronger. My first season was actually 77, 78. We finished 5th out of 10. Big joke, so that definitely had an impact on me as an individual. So any sort of positives I'll grasp for, and make the most of it. I'll celebrate like it's 1999 or 2001 with a treble. But what I have to say here, James, just to segue nicely into this transfer news, I love the way you delicately tiptoed there. What was it you said? The young Manchester City centre-back. Pray tell, what is his name?
I don't speak French, so I can't enunciate it.
He's an England youth international.
Simpson is his middle name. I think I can get that one out, but that's about it.
I think it's Simpson Poussey.
Oh,
we go with that. Yeah,
that sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's one of those where you can imagine the sort of Beavis and Buttheads among the Scottish football fans will make hay with this young lad, just as they did with Raphael Scheidt, and the alarm that went through the Celtic fans in the pre-mentioned 1990s when we were getting linked with Julian Dix. God forbid we went for David Seaman at any point, So young Simpson Poussey, I'm sure, that'll strengthen him. One thing we know, he must have good mental strength anyway, to have a career in football with the sort of loonies that go to the games.
Yeah, it's like having a father that names his son Sue, right? There's a reason for that. So
how do you do?
Yes. So I think, he probably had some enduring to do with that name. But hey, in the spirit of the 90s, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So, But no, I think this signing is fascinating as much as it indicates what I was mentioning before, kind of a halo of erratic, manic supporter reaction. Understandably, all of it's understandable, given kind of the mess that we all kind of collectively feel is the transfer window so far. So again, let's work through it, because I think it's an overreaction in a lot of ways relative to the outlook for this season.
We hope you enjoyed this free preview from all of us here at the Huddle Breakdown. We know you have options and we really appreciate you tuning in. To hear the rest of this episode and for much more Huddle Breakdown content, head on over to www.huddlebreakdown.com. We hope you consider subscribing. Thank you.